NewsGator is essentially a solution for SharePoint. We're the preferred social solution on top of SharePoint for the entire enterprise. Yeah, look, so I think it's one of the better conferences in the SharePoint community. It's our first time coming to New Zealand for this conference as well. One of our customers, Bank of New Zealand, is here talking about their intranet, and NewsGator is a key part of that and how they've added a social layer to make it more engaging for their adoption of SharePoint in their enterprise. So I think Microsoft's roadmap for social is always expanding. It's always key that ISVs like NewsGator, who are able to fill in their gaps as well and make sure that it's entered the marketplace correctly. Beyond just having social updates, which I think people are open to now, there's going to be a lot of innovation around ideas, managing video streaming, social learning, and of course all the ever-growing number of applications on mobile phones. Those are things that NewsGator do really well, quite ahead of the curve. That's right. So we have mobile apps for most of the tablets, whether they're iOS devices, whether they're actually BlackBerry, or of course the Windows Mobile lineup for 7 and version 8.
And what do you find is the biggest hurdle for user adoption in SharePoint systems?
Well, I think one of the biggest hurdles is just getting users engaged. And I think if you do have something, strangely enough, around the social aspects, it has some engagement mechanisms automatically. It's more fresh, it's more vibrant. You get notified when someone comments on something that you like or likes a post you've written. So it has that feedback loop to get you back into the system. And that really does help. And we see a lot of people when they pilot a new version of SharePoint or a big new rollout, they'll always use social as kind of a tip of the spear as to bring people into the new system. One of the biggest things I like the best, even at working in NewsGator, is just the reduction of email. Like, I think we all have too much information, there's just too much stuff going on, and cutting down on email is key. And as well, also being able to find people who are maybe in a different office. Maybe I wouldn't see them face to face, especially because I work in Asia. I still feel really in touch with all my colleagues back in the United States. So that's one thing I like. I would like to actually see more around, this is coming from a social perspective as well, more around how you can actually see some client compliance features. I think it's one of SharePoint's strengths is to have those features around compliance. It'd be good to see how we could also provide that to provide security and those rules around social media, because I think people still have concerns in the enterprise about social being, a bit risky. Is this information going to, get outside our firewall and stuff like that? Being able to make sure that we can communicate with people not only inside your organization, but outside your organization, using services like Azure Cloud and being able to bridge and tunnel your internal work with people outside, like contractors, customers, partners, things like that. I think that's going to be key in the future. So I've been to others as an attendee. It's my first time as a sponsor here. I think it's been really good. It's good to see all the different folks in the SharePoint community. It's obviously a place that's in very much high demand, so it's interesting to see how people move around and see where they've worked for in the past. And I think it's been really good to see what the real pressing points are that people have in these communities. It's very different from the last few years. Obviously, people now thinking about the next version of SharePoint as well bring a whole new slew of different ideas and different challenges, I suppose.